Hey, this lesson is about comparing fractions, and we're going to look at 4 different strategies that you can use when you're comparing fractions. The first strategy is to use some fraction tools. So here we've got fraction bars that we can color in to compare the fractions 2/3 and 2/5. So I'm going to color in 2/3, so 2 out of the 3, and then I'm going to color in 2/5. So we can tell from looking at this that 2/3 is greater than 2/5. It has more colored in. So 2/3 is the greater fraction. 2/3 is greater than 2/5. Another strategy you can use is to look at a number line. You can represent the different fractions on a number line. So the top number line is divided into 3 parts. Part 1, part 2, part 3. So 2/3 would be about right there on the number line. The bottom one's divided into 5 equal parts in between 0 and 1. So 2/5 would be here. So the fraction that's closer to 0 is 2/5, and the fraction that's closer to 1 is 2/3. So we can see that the one that's closer to 1 is going to be the fraction that's bigger. So 2/3 is greater than 2/5. We can also look and see if the fractions have common numerators or denominators. So with these two fractions, we can see that the numerators are the same. They both have a 2 as the numerator. And when the numerators are the same, the greater the denominator, the smaller the parts. That means that if I am sharing something with 3 people, then my parts are bigger than if I have to share with 5 people. The more pieces you're dividing your whole into, the smaller each piece gets. So we know that 2/3 is greater than 2/5. 2/3 is greater than 2/5. If the denominators are the same, then the greater the numerator, the greater the fraction. So for example, if I had 4/6 and 3/6, the denominators are the same, so we can just compare the numerators. The last strategy we're going to talk about is using 1/2 as a benchmark. So earlier when we learned about benchmark fractions, we were sorting them by whether or not they were greater than, less than, or equal to 1/2. So we can use that to help us compare fractions. So is 2/3 greater or less than 1/2? Well, you should know that 2/3 is greater than 1/2 and that 2/5 is less than 1/2. So that will tell you that 2/3 is greater than 2/5. So these are 4 different strategies that you can use to help you compare different fractions.